Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of the Wisdom Save podcast. As always, I am Ken.
I'm still Hannah.
I love that you do that, by the way. I wanted to comment on it last time, but I love that you're just like, oh, it's Hannah. I'm still Hannah.
It's me still. Because it's been almost
30 episodes.
And we're still introducing ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, I figure just a nice lead in. You know what? That's maybe we'll change up the intro. Maybe one day we'll just surprise them. We'll just hit them with a 1-2 punch.
Maybe, just don't introduce them, have no idea who we are.
That's it. Well, that's the thing. Like, I feel like because 30 episodes. That's the thing. It's like I felt like because we were still early on in our podcasting experience, I wanted to introduce the beginning of the episode because like each episode could be someone's first episode.
Right.
So it's like it's important for them to know who we are.
Well, it's also true of any podcast.
That's true, and also we have 30 episodes now. So at this point, it's like maybe we don't need to introduce ourselves. Maybe they kind of know.
We'll retcon it.
We'll retcon it.
Yeah.
Like we'll do something different.
We'll figure it out.
Okay, yeah, that's what I think. I feel like one of these days we'll just come up with a really cool intro.
We'll either retcon it or we'll try to retcon it and be like, nah, we're keeping it. So
I'm into it.
Expect change or no change.
So expect nothing.
Or everything.
Or everything. Expect everything from us.
Expect everything and nothing.
Yes, you can quote me on that. Expect everything from us.
You can quote me on expect nothing from us.
Okay, before we get too deep, we have first of all, I wanted to say we took last week off.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who probably would have noticed not seeing an episode pop up on your YouTube feed on Wednesday, we're just tired.
It's a lot of my fault where the podcast dates when we're recording, they sneak up on me.
Yes. Yeah. Especially with our work schedules too. We're both back working consistent schedules now. It's just a lot going on.
Well, that and I've been so tired. It's winter.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh god, yeah, winter the worst part. The seasonal depressant.
The seasonal depressant. And it was supposed to be my topic, which it is today. Mm-hmm. But it was supposed to be my topic when we were supposed to record before last week. And I just couldn't get myself to do it.
Yeah, I was feeling it too.
Well, the date always sneaks up on me.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it snuck up on me pretty hard that time.
Right.
And I had to have I was between two different ideas, and they were both pretty big ideas. I was thinking of potentially doing another interview, but if I'm going to do an interview, I need to tell Ken beforehand so he can get into that character's headspace.
Prep the character and dig up in my notes about certain facts and tidbits of information about them. So that's one of the ones that's one of our series that has a lot more prep work that goes into it.
Well, not to mention the day before, Ken goes, "So what are you doing for your topic?" And I'm like, well, obviously I don't have a choice anymore. So I either have to dive nose deep into this other topic I have planned, or right. I have to tell you to fucking get into a headspace and get into it now.
Yeah. Which, depending on which character you would have chosen, which you still haven't told me.
Right.
Because I'm still trying to keep it secret until a few days before we record, so it gives me enough time to figure it out. But regardless of that, that could have been either relatively easy or very difficult.
Regardless, it gave me some very big decision paralysis to the point where I'm I just don't even want to. I wanted to play my Stardew Valley. I wanted to.
You've been playing a lot of recently.
Yeah, I wanted to lay in bed and do nothing.
Hell yeah.
And
I love that.
That's what we did.
Yeah. So that's the thing is that we just kind of as the winter reaches the end of it, I feel we're not quite at the point where it's we have our spring vigor yet, and we're just kind of we're hanging in there.
We'll get there. It's coming, but it's
tired and busy.
We're also going to be touching on this again with my my new topic because
this is a good. That's what I'm going to say. This is kind of a good lead.
This is kind of relevant because
I'm super fascinated by
the topic that I came up with is going to be a whole new series.
Yeah,
forget.
I love this.
Because we kept skipping episodes. We had to take breaks for my for my kidney stones, we had to
Yeah.
take breaks for the end of the year for holidays. We
Yeah.
randomly skip episodes when I feel like I don't want to do anything.
Yeah. Or when I do. It's happened.
Yeah, or when you don't want to do anything. And so I've come up, well, I didn't come up with it, but I've come up with an idea.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Ken's heard about this until I introduced it to him.
Yeah, I knew nothing about this until you mentioned it. And did you say this was something that other podcasters have been doing?
I have no idea. I haven't seen anyone on a podcast do it, but
Okay.
this is a tool that families do at the dinner table, or teachers use with their students, or like parents use with their kids, or like I've just seen people do it to like start discussions and stuff. Yeah. I don't know what the official name of it was called, but I thought it was Roses and Thorns.
Okay, yeah.
It's just this little thing where you go through and you're supposed to identify at its simplest form, one rose and one thorn for your day or week. But when I looked up the game for its official rules so I could get set up for it.
Because it is a game. It's like a get to know you, or like an interactive conversation game.
Okay. It's rose, thorn, and buds, which are one positive, one negative, and then one thing you're excited about that could like potentially be either, I suppose, in the future.
I see. So it's like the rose is like it's a metaphor. It's like it's a beautiful part of the flower. So
the part that sucks and it hurts you.
Well, the thorn is the part that sucks and hurts. Yeah. So the rose is like the thing that happened to you that made you happy. The thorn is the thing that caused you grief, and the bud is the thing that is growing into something that could be a rose. Something
that could be a rose or might be a flop. You don't know.
No,
but you're hoping it's a rose because you're excited about it.
Right. Okay. Interesting. I like this.
But so that's what I figured could be really fun because
it seems like a good therapy activity.
Yeah. It is kind of like a fun little like therapeutic activity. And also there's the rose thorn and then the bud, so it's like positive, negative, positive.
And like hopefully like hopeful thinking.
So it's almost like the compliment sandwich, except it's like reflective.
Cool. All right, I dig that.
Yes. And also I figured it'd be fun to slide in as a series because then when I'm just not feeling it or you're just not feeling it, we could talk about our week. Like instead of just, putting on this giant bravado of like we have to come up with this really big thing and do a bunch of research and like or like put on airs of like a character or like anything like that. We can just do Roses and Thorns.
And that's kind of like it's kind of like a more relaxing way that we kind of handled some of the new series idea that we've been coming up with and been starting for the podcast so far. Is we invented those series because it gives us something to be like, okay, if I'm like tapped out of new ideas, we'll just fall on something that like we've done before that we know works. We can just kind of go in on that. Mm-hmm. But like some of our series, like they're very exciting and they're very interesting topics that we want to talk about, but sometimes they do require a lot of legwork. Mm-hmm. It requires us to kind of like be in the zone and really know about stuff. And there's some weeks, like especially with like our busy work schedules and just like life in general for us, like sometimes we're just not quite there. Mm-hmm. And this is just something that's like, you know, if there's anything that we've proven that we can do, it's that we can riff about stuff.
Oh yeah,
and we can just talk about stuff forever. So we're talking about our week, like that's like there's a whole thing.
Well, not to mention,
I love this. I think this is a great idea.
I think it's a good idea also because with a lot of our bigger ideas, like even if they're get to know us episodes,
sure,
we only talk about things in retrospect. Like we're talking about like, oh, like what's our like favorite Pokemon types, or like, oh, what's our like Hogwarts house, or oh, like what are things about us, but we like never actually talk about like us.
Sure, yeah.
Which is, like, fine.
Yeah, and that was even the whole thought process behind my whole Get to Know Us, like, topic we did at the beginning of the year. Is that, like, it was like, hey, this is a window into us and who we are and our experiences. So now we kind of, like, we have an outlet to be able to do that, but on a much more, like, not on a meta level. Like, on a much more, like, personal, like, week-by-week level. Which I like that.
It'll help people understand, like, what's going on with us and, like, things that are happening and like what we enjoy and what we don't like and things that are happening like that are good and things that are happening that are bad and things that we're looking forward to. And it just gives people like more of that just hanging out with us feel, I think.
Yeah. Which is what this podcast is all about, baby.
Yeah.
We just want you all to hang out with us. Just have a chit chat.
It's a much more relaxed kind of episode.
I'm super into it. As a Taurus, anything cozy and relaxing where I can, no cancer placements, but I do like to talk about my feelings.
And it also gives people the opportunity to write roses and thorns and stuff in the comments.
In the comments, talk about the things that made your week.
Yeah.
And then of course we'd love to hear about the things that made your week exciting. We'd love to hear you talk about the things that you were like, man, this kind of sucks. I wish this just let us know.
Play along. Do roses, thorns, and buds.
Exactly. Feel free to play along with us. We're gonna let you know. I'm sure we have plenty. I can already think of a few things that are definitely on my list.
The thing is I wanted to do a bunch of things, but I kind of stuck with one thing.
Because we'd go forever if we think too many.
Well, that also doesn't mean you can't pick a few other things.
Sure.
I just tried to stick with one thing and pick the things that made them qualify around them. So it's
sure.
I have talking points, but regardless. We're at about our 15-minute mark, so.
Right, so we should probably get into it.
Let's start.
So yeah, since it's your topic, I would love for you to start. Show me how it's done, and then now are we going are we gonna talk about all of our things each, or are we gonna go you share a rose, I share a rose, you share a thorn, I share a thorn?
I think we're gonna do that because especially because I don't want to it probably wouldn't anyway, but I don't want to scatter lots of the negative stuff.
Yeah,
I want it to be feel good, and then talk about the thorns, and then get that over with, and then talk about the buds.
And then kind of talk about things that excite the things that we are looking forward to.
I want to leave everyone on a good note when we leave. So I want to, instead of talking for 15 minutes about our last good thing, and then being okay, well, bye, and give people whiplash, good, bad, good, bad, good, bad.
Yeah, right.
So we're just gonna do 2 roses, 2 thorns, 2 buds, and then we'll be done.
Okay, I'm into it.
Okay.
Fire away. Show me how it's done.
So, my first rose, and I put little definitions on the bottom. I made a little template for myself.
Okay, sure.
So I can give definitions the first time we do this. Even though we kind of already explained it a little bit. The rose is supposed to be a highlight, success, or something positive that happened to you. What was your highlight this week? What have you done that's been successful, and what are you most proud of? That's just some little prompts to get in the mindset of what.
Yeah, to help you to jog your memory of what that is.
Okay. I picked when I went to Erica's to fit the custom wedding dress that we made.
Oh yeah.
We haven't made the dress yet, but Erica wrapped me up in tape and made a custom mannequin of me.
Oh, I didn't realize she made a full-on mannequin.
That's what that thing was. I sent Ken a picture.
Yeah.
Erica took duct tape, and she had me find a shirt because the dress we're making is going to be or 3/4 sleeves.
I was going to say, you should explain the process of this because it's super interesting.
Let's start from the beginning.
I thought it was cool, at least. I've never heard of this before.
Let's start from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Ken hasn't proposed to me yet.
Yet.
Let's get that out in the air so people aren't like, oh,
what's happening? Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, it's something we're talking about it.
Well, regardless, I have pointed out to Ken that weddings take a long time to plan.
Right, absolutely.
And so I want to make a custom wedding dress because we're getting married at the Ren Fair.
We've already decided this.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. This is so exciting.
And we're not doing anything traditionally, unless medieval is as traditional as you're thinking.
Medieval's vaguely our theme, but we're going off the rails. We're doing
fantasy. We're doing D&D fantasy, Ren Fair medieval themes.
High fantasy medieval
D&D themes.
Wedding. Yeah.
But I'm gonna try and recreate the dress from my first D&D character to get married in. So I wrote out some designs, and Erica, my magical sister.
She is a craft wizard, that one.
She wrapped me in 3 layers of duct tape.
Not head to toe, but
base of the neck to almost mid-thigh.
Jeez.
And she had me put on a 3/4 arms sleeve length shirt, wrap me up, and then cut it off. And then we pulled it off, and she taped it, and she's gonna fill it with polyfill, and make a custom mannequin so that she can make sure the dress fits right. Um, and so that's what we did a few days ago. And she has all the designs. She's gonna like, she took all my measurements. We figured out what my ring size is.
Right.
Which
I remember. It's a 9.
It's a 9. I wrote it down in my notes.
I also have it written down.
She wrote them all on her iPad. We started stuffing the mannequin. It's super funny looking.
I don't know if I saw any of the progress pictures for the stuff part. I just saw like the frame. It looked like a really big, like kind of funky looking breastplate.
Yeah, it looked like a breastplate made out of tape.
Yeah.
And she showed me some of the fabric that she's gonna make the mock-up dress out of, so that she has all the dimensions right and make sure it fits. And like, we like how it looks. And then we're gonna go buy really fancy fabric, and then put together the actual dress. And shopping for all the accessories, yada yada yada. But I also, while I was there, got to make some templates for her new soap company.
Yeah.
Because she's going to be making bath bombs now. And she's also doing like these like gift bundles with soap and like smells and stuff. So we did some business work, we did some pleasure work, and then and that was a good day.
Yeah. And it's awesome too because like there's a couple of cool little ideas and actually we're probably going to link we should link Erica's
business
Erica
again.
and Paul's soap company in the description
Mm-hmm.
because they're just starting up. They have a bunch of really, really cool things, and we're very excited about it for them. But Hannah now gets to like kind of do some like product design like work of your own for them.
I did a few templates for their website. They're going to be using them for
well, because like they're consulting you, right? It's not like you're not like an employee of theirs.
No.
Yeah, you're just like
But they're also potentially thinking of having me make dice for their bath bombs.
Oh, like making resin dice like you've been doing.
Yeah, like I don't know if it's going to be just D20s or not, or if it's going to be full sets, but like eventually I'm going to try and perfect that craft and all that. But regardless, that's not like all that other potential complications in the future. That's not the rose. The rose was that I got to spend a fun day with my sister and we made a wedding dress and did some art design for her business.
Yeah, that's really lovely. What's my rose?
Well, you have your picture of your template that was really that you scribbled on.
Yeah, I did scribble one together really, really quickly. Oh yeah, that has to be it. So when I was thinking about this, I almost put it down as a bud. But I think it's to the point where it's like, no, this is a rose. Like this is the highlight
of your week.
Well, maybe not the high. There were a lot of good. There were some things that happened this week, but there were a lot of good things that happened this week. All things considered, I think this is maybe one of the things that I lingered on the longest. The thing that kind of like gave me the most. The thing that gave me the most serotonin for the longest.
The thing is I feel like I know what it is, and I feel like this is the one I didn't put on my list because I knew you were going to be picking it.
Would that be the Pokemon news?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Okay. So, for those of you who don't already know, this is a very, very the week before you are hearing this, because this will be a few days after it's already happened. But the final week in February is a very, very important week for me as someone whose first ever video game was Pokemon Red version for the Game Boy Color. And as someone who became interested in like gaming and nerddom as a whole because of the effect that Pokemon had on me, it's the anniversary of Pokemon.
It's 25th anniversary of Pokemon.
The 25th anniversary this year. I'm 2 years older than Pokemon. Pokemon came out when... Oh, I'm 3 technically because I'll be turning 20 years.
Oh, come on. Don't remind me.
I know, yeah. Geez, we're getting old too.
We're only born a month apart, so we're on the same wavelength.
Yeah, we're both old. Almost. Just
on with your topic.
Just wait till we're 30.
It's supposed to be a rose.
We're on the roses. Let's put our cell decay behind us. Yeah. So one of the big things that happened this week was the day before the official 25th anniversary date, which was the 27th of February. Pokemon put out a 20-minute video, which was kind of like the first like 8 minutes or so was just like a retrospective of all of the things that Pokemon has done in chronological order. Every device, every game, every cool handheld, every
anime,
piece of lore, the anime, like everything that Pokemon has done, kind of like walked through the history of it. So we took a little, and me, I'm a sucker for nostalgia. I feel like we've talked about this on the podcast, but everyone in real life knows how much of a sucker for nostalgia.
We're millennials.
That's really what it is. It's memories of a bygone era. And anything that reminds me of my childhood, just beautiful. So we saw that. They showed us a little bit of footage of the new Pokemon Snap, which looks really fucking good.
It looks beautiful.
It looks incredible. There's so many beautiful environments. There's a night and day feature, so you can take pictures at night and you can take pictures during the day.
Not to mention, they made it so that, like, I don't know anyone that's played Pokemon, like, Snap on that watches us. But, like, before you're like, oh, here, take a picture of Lapras.
It's a Lapras. You can get better pictures, but it pretty much, like, you go on rails, and it just kind of does a thing, and you can catch it in various stages of doing the thing, and then you move past it, and it's done.
But they've also, like, really amped up, like, the wildlife.
Yeah.
Like, they showed us some of the scenes you can get, and there's, like, Pokemon that have, like, their babies, and there's, like, Pokemon that are, like, watching other Pokemon do things. Like, they really upped the, like, them having personalities and, like, them really being in, like, their environment and, like, really made the environment look real.
The thing that, like, that really got me, I feel like it might have been I'm not sure what water Pokemon it was, but I think it was a Blastoise. And it was, like, a Blastoise that, like, leapt out of the water of a waterfall and, like, landed and did this cool stance on a rock. And there were these two, we did go back, because they went back and they came around, these two little Sobbles sitting on the rock just watching and, like, clapping for him. And
no, that was,
that's amazing.
Venusaur.
Oh, it was a Venusaur that leapt from the, like, flower patch onto the pond.
Into the water.
Yeah, and then the Sobble were like, oh, wow.
Yeah, Venusaur did a jump into the water while the Sobbles watched.
It was so cute. And then it's with the Switch, which already has, like, a way better screenshot system. Like, straight at the screenshot button.
Yeah, you can just take pictures.
So, like, that's kind of neat. And, like, you can customize and edit your own pictures. Like, as someone who several times bugged my parents as a child to bring me back to the Blockbuster that was 15 minutes from my house because I wanted to rent Pokemon Snap over and over and over again. As someone who, like, has a very distinct memory of the first time that I finally was able to play Pokemon Snap for long enough in a single week's rental that I was able to get to the Rainbow Cloud and find Mew and take pictures of Mew. Like, now we get to experience all that all over again. And I love that. So I'm very excited about that game. That's coming out in, like, late April, so I've got 2 months. And that was exciting enough. But there was this kind of underlying feeling that, like, something new was coming. Like, Pokemon was good. They were ready to be like, hey, Pokemon Sword and Shield came out in November of 2019. We're talking about November of 2021 now. Like, what's coming out? And for years, Pokemon fans, anyone who's a Pokemon fan, who's listening will probably know this, but for years in the community, we've all been talking about where's the Diamond and Pearl remakes? Where's the Generation 4 remakes? What are they going to look like? What's happening?
I have never said that.
Well, that's because you're not a big fan of Gen 4. You already got your Gen 3 remakes. You got your Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
On the DS, like, do another one. Skip this one, do another Ruby and Sapphire.
We've been talking a lot this week about, like, our favorite generations and stuff like that, just because, Pokemon's been...
Yeah, we're not even married. We're going to get a divorce.
I have no problems with your favorite generation being Generation 3. Whenever I bring up my favorite generation, she's always like, ugh, I guess you can have that opinion. There is so much beauty to be found in all of the different regions and generations of Pokemon.
Except for yours, because the only thing I remember about that game was going on the Ferris wheel and almost getting molested.
That was Generation 5.
Oh.
I love Black and White.
Even worse.
Gen 4.
Then I don't remember anything about yours.
my two favorite generations.
What happened in that game?
In Gen 4, that was Team Galactic. That was when, like, Dialga and Palkia, they were going to use it to, like, stop time or like destroy space time and shit. That was the one that had like you had the like Floroma town, so you went north of the first gym and you went through that giant field of flowers and you got the honey and you could spread the honey on the honey trees to call down Pokemon. And then you went like by the Valley Windworks, which is the windmill energy farm, and you went up that way into like the big city. That's where the grass gym leader was, and then you had like the boggy marshes in the south, and you had like the big like fancy mountain town with all the high cliffs, and that was where the fighting gym was. You had like the like
Tell
the
me what
top.
happened in the game. Stop telling me about the scenery.
Oh, in the game, I mean, it was pretty much like Team Galactic was trying to take over the world. It was like a regular villain team. They were trying to capture the legendaries of space and time so that they could manipulate space time, and like there was a little bit of a darker plot. Like they basically wanted to, their leader was Cyrus, and he was like this blue-haired, like blue spiky-haired, like absolutionist guy who was like, it almost had a pseudo like religious cult kind of feel. He was like, the world is full of terrible people who manipulate others and take what they want, and I hate that, so I'm going to destroy the world. He wanted to basically use the legendary to wipe the entire world clean and restart time and existence. Platinum was the updated version. That was the one where they like got sucked into that weird upside down world, or the distortion world, and it was the one that
none of this rings a bell.
It was the one that Jaden Animations just finished a Nuzlocke for.
Oh,
like her own personal one, not the special one she did with Alpharet.
Oh,
it was that generation.
Well, yeah, because that was Ruby and Sapphire.
Right? Yeah, they redid Ruby and Sapphire. I know she's done a Ruby and Sapphire.
Yeah, I don't remember that game at all. I remember the lady that had the wings.
Lady that had the wings?
Yeah, wasn't she like a gym leader?
Was there a lady that had wings? Did she have like fairy wings?
She had like little angel wings or something like that.
Pretty sure that was Generation 6.
Was it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Kalos.
Huh.
That was the fairy type gym leader. Did she have like weird bug eyes?
No.
Oh. Well, I don't know who you're talking about. Who had fairy wings? No one had wings?
I thought they did.
Did someone have wings?
Yeah, I don't remember. It was like the lady that's in charge of the Elite Four. She had like these white little wings in her costume.
That was Diantha. She was like a movie star in a white outfit with kind of like lavender hair, and she had angel wings. That was Generation 6.
I don't remember your game.
You don't. You clearly don't remember Generation 4 at all. And I wouldn't necessarily say it's my game. I don't think Generation 4 is my favorite generation. It's probably my second favorite. But I don't think it's my favorite.
Regardless, continue with the
Lucario first was introduced.
I remember that. I remember Lucario.
Yeah, do you remember when you went into the cave and there was that dude in the blue suit with the hat who gave you a Riolu egg?
Nope. I remember him, yeah.
Yeah, Riley. Yeah.
But from the anime, not from the game.
Oh, so you did watch some of the anime.
A little. Yeah, I watched a lot of the anime, but like,
because you didn't know
not in cohesive order.
Who Paul was when we were talking.
Well, because I don't fucking know who that is.
Oh, the most dramatic arc of Generation
Probably why
4
I didn't like it or care.
Oh,
and I might know Paul, but if he was a trash person, like you're telling me, then he's not in my mind.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because he doesn't deserve a spot.
I'll show you a clip later. You'll probably remember. But anyway, we got our remix. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Pokemon.
Oh,
Shiny.
that fucker.
Who? You, Paul? Yeah, that guy. Yeah, you know him. Yeah.
Throw the whole man in the trash.
Yeah, that's fair. He was a piece of shit.
Anyway, what else were you excited about?
That was it. Oh, well, we're almost getting there. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Announced. A lot of people were like weird on the chibi art style. It kind of has like in battle, it has a Pokemon Let's Go kind of battle style to it, and the art style is kind of just like a clunky kind of, well, not clunky, chunky, like puffed up version of how the original 3DS or the original DS, because it was a DS game, the DS graphics looked. Some people are kind of down on that art style. I really like it.
I like it a lot too, and I actually sent you a TikTok that you're never gonna watch.
No, I'm gonna watch them all tomorrow, the day off.
That somebody.
I'm gonna watch all 147 of the TikToks you sent me.
Well, I mean, if you watched them more, there wouldn't be 147.
If I was on the app more, I probably would be.
Literally, I haven't been on that app for a long time because I've been playing Stardew.
Right.
You've just let them pile.
I do.
I
do like regularly. I'm like, I'll watch TikToks next week.
Yeah, I can't blame you when I send you like 400 of them.
No, I'm never mad about it. It's just.
Well, no, I'm saying I can't blame you for compiling 400 when I send you 400 in a night. You've had at least a week and a half of me sending you only a few a day because otherwise I've been playing video games, and you still now have almost 200.
Yeah, it's fair. So 49. We're halfway to 200.
Regardless, I sent you a TikTok that they were talking about the art style, and they're like, a lot of people are shitting on the art style, but it's mainly because nobody likes change.
Yeah.
But the thing is I really like the art style, but I think it's just missing one thing: outlines.
Oh, like line art or something?
Like if they outlined the characters, if they like had an outline, they'd look perfect.
Interesting. Now, like, I don't think that would have a big impact on like the chibi like overworld, but like in the battles, probably.
Oh no, they had both examples, and they both looked so much better.
Shit,
like, and they don't even look bad as they are.
Like, I like them. I think
I also like them, but the thing is I didn't really realize it until somebody went out of their way to put an outline on them,
like a line shader over it.
Yeah,
yeah.
That they look so good.
Shit,
they look really good.
I'll have to check that out.
And I didn't even really realize it until I looked at the pictures that they just kind of look very pastel-y.
Okay. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And so they kind of blend together, the colors. Like, I can't really, like, I could before when I was looking at it, but, like, when you really think about it...
I can look at the screenshots again.
You can't tell, like, her neck from, like, her scarf very well with the girl character. Yeah. And it's, like, because they're both, like, a very peachy pink shade. And, like, so just, like, giving everything, like, a definer of where it is really makes it seem...
That makes
better.
So much sense.
But other than that, I perfectly like the art style.
I've been loving a lot of the memes and stuff because you can the especially Dawn,
like the shit piss war.
Yeah, like that from the Nintendo.
Yeah, that's not what we're talking about.
That's a whole different thing. Fucking Project Triangle Strategy. But yeah, it's like they'll put like the tiny, like they'll take Dawn, but in her like new chibi design form, and like put her like really tiny in the background next to like the regular art of the old characters at regular size, and it'll be like Cynthia, and she's looking at Dawn, and she's like, "Trainer, so you've come this far to make it here. Will you give me the battle of my life?" And then it's just like little tiny chunky chibi Dawn, and she just goes, "I float up."
That's so funny.
And I'm like, yeah, that's adorable. Like they look like little babies.
I love it. It's so funny.
I'm really excited about it.
But that wasn't even the thing that you were most excited about from the announcement.
That's the thing. I went into that direct being like, the best thing we're gonna get out of this direct is the Gen 4 remakes. And you know what? I'm fucking ready for that. I'm so excited for Gen 4 remakes. And then after that, they pull some absolute fucking shit on us. They pull some bullshit. They're like, another story. Welcome to the new era of Pokemon. And some voice comes up about how it's like, welcome to the Sinnoh of old, in an ancient time where it's complete wilderness and there was no civilization and humans just lived in one village exploring the brave frontier of the Sinnoh region. And then they show this scene where they had the full-on fucking Breath of the Wild zoom. Like way back when I nearly cried watching the Breath of the Wild trailer, watching the camera just zoom over Link, and you see this massive fucking world out in front of him, and you start to slowly realize, like, damn, you can go anywhere. Like, this is it. The whole thing is yours. And they pull that, and then this character, this trainer, dressed up in a ninja outfit, fucking runs out the door, walks his way out, sneaks into some grass, dodge rolls, and then throws this old-timey looking steampunk lock on the front Pokeball at a Shinx, just puts it in the hand.
It's made of wood, did you realize that?
Yeah, it's made of wood. I know, it's crazy. And just catches it. And it's like, bam, here you go. Pokemon Legends Arceus. Open world game exploring the historical lore of Pokemon. You can walk around everywhere thanks to screenshots that we've seen put out of like pre-release like information. You can climb, you can fly, you can swim, you can ride on Pokemon supposedly. Like you can just go, like it's literally Breath of the Wild, but you get to, and you can catch Pokemon and then just like use them for stuff. It almost has like that ranger feel to it where it's like, I'm just going to catch this. Like if your PC's in your bag, like in all the recent games, I'll catch this and I'll switch it out and then I can use it to like help me do this thing here.
So excited.
Like just like the idea that Pokemon is now going to be this living, breathing, open world where you can just go interact with the environment as freely as you want. amazing. Like I wanted it. I feel like every Pokemon fan at some point in life has been like, damn, what if Pokemon were real?
Yeah. No, I don't think there's ever been a time where someone hasn't thought that. If you like Pokemon.
And it's like, this is the closest that a video game is ever going to get to capturing that experience, I think. It's just like the open world, free roam, like, here it is.
Yeah. Breath of the Wild style Pokemon is like, oh my god. Like, I want to ride on Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like, I want to, like, have them climb things, and I want to, like, run around and, like, just be able to dodge out of the way when they try to fucking attack me.
Yeah. Like, imagine you're walking and then you go around the corner and just this big, nasty Tyranitar just, like, comes around the corner and catches you and starts to, like, scrape his foot to charge, and you just toss your Arcanine out and jump up on your Arcanine's back and just sprint. Just like take off, and then it's this big chase, and Sarato's running after you, and you're like bobbing and weaving and jumping from space to space. Like, oh,
like get
God.
used to not talking to me after that game comes out.
Releases
like,
worldwide in early 2022, and then you will never see me again.
I was gonna say it's gonna release early 2022, and don't expect to have any podcasts after that.
we won't be able to unless you all would be interested in an episode where we just talk about our favorite Pokemon and the things we've done.
And things about that game.
Yeah. Yeah, we will talk like we live in a different world. We live in feudal Sinnoh. And, like, that's the other thing that I think, and this is probably the last thing I'm going to touch on because we could talk for hours about this.
Right.
The thing that most excited me was, for the first time ever, we're doing a brand new Pokemon game with full starters and everything that takes place in, like, a familiar setting, but a new version of a familiar setting. It's ancient Sinnoh. It's pre-civilized Sinnoh.
Mm-hmm.
And the starters are a mishmash of different starters from 3 different generations. You can get Alola's Rowlet, you can get Unova's Oshawott, or you can get Johto's Cyndaquil as your Fire, Water, Grass type starter. That's awesome to me. Imagine the mix and match combinations you can do with other starters in other future renditions of that type of game.
Also, something I didn't realize that may not actually have any real correlation to it or not. Did you notice in the trailer that in the very beginning there are Piplups?
Yeah, roaming around in the water.
Yeah. Like,
there's also a point at one point in the trailer where you can see like these walking around in this like scrub grass. It's kind of like a brownish green, maybe thicker, denser grass. And the trainer peeks around the corner and there's just a Chimchar looking away, and he throws the ball to Chimchar too. Because I think the point of the game is you are there, your people starting to civilize the Sinnoh region and like build cities and stuff. And of course, the starter Pokemon are just Pokemon that are rare and hard to find in that region, but they still are from that region. So I think what it is you're going to find wild Piplups, wild Chimchars, wild Turtwigs. And over time, their environments become like maybe over encroached by civilization, like maybe they get pushed to different areas, but like those starters exist because they were just popular Pokemon that people in the Sinnoh region discovered. But the whole point of this game is you're creating the first Sinnoh Pokedex. That was the theme of it. So you're technically probably the first person to discover Piplup or Chimchar or Turtwig.
Potentially.
Which is like wild to me.
Right.
That game, like it's been on my mind for many days, and it has been
came out.
Basically the highlight of my week.
We've had at least one discussion every day since it's been announced.
Yeah.
But moving on to Thorns, which is
now that we've hyped ourselves up, let's hit the low points.
Let's hit the lows.
That's totally fine. We got to talk about our Thorns. It's like therapy. Let's talk about the things that gave us challenge this week. I'd like to hear.
This could potentially be my Thorn every single week.
Sure.
But I won't do it every single week. I put work stress down as my Thorn.
Yep, I feel that.
Because work for me has been an ongoing issue.
Sure. There's
a lot of like benefits I have to my job, but it puts a lot of stress on me mentally. Because I think I've said out loud where I work before. I said I worked at a Subway.
Yeah.
But mine in particular is like kind of rough. A lot of people have always been like, "Oh, why don't you just like move different Subways or something?" And I'm like, "Well, they're probably all shitty." And they're like, "Oh no, like other people that work at Subway are happy." And I'm like, "Wow, that's
I don't
Weird.
believe you, but okay. Never
Um,
had that experience.
because I do like the job, but also like especially now in COVID times, I spend and then the thing is too is it's not laborious.
Yeah.
It's like I mean a little bit because I spend it's only 4 hours is what I'm saying. It's not like I'm
Yeah.
not
You
there for like
usually
an
only
8 hour
work
day.
like a partial shift. Yeah.
But I'm there doing the work of 2 to 3 people by myself
Yeah.
for
Because you're
those in
all.
those 4 hours.
Well, because I mean, your store, like, not including the owners, you have 2 employees.
Yeah, and we never work at the same time.
Yeah.
So the only time that I get a day off is when my coworker is working, and the only time my coworker gets a day off is when I'm working.
Right.
And otherwise, the owners take the opening shift, which is the easier, more pleasant shift.
Yeah.
And then we close the store.
Right.
By ourselves. 2 girls. Alone.
Yeah.
In a store.
And only one of you at a time.
And only one of us at a time. And it's continuous scrutiny.
Yeah.
There's never a day that I'm not expecting to either get a text in the morning about all the shit I did wrong.
Yeah.
Or that I will walk into the store to be like reamed on that like I did shit wrong.
Yeah. Well, that's the worst part too, is that like because you're the only person cleaning, inevitably if it's busy, you're going to have to rush at the end, especially near a busy end of the night, to make sure you get things done. And like one person alone sometimes can't do everything. And then that becomes a problem for them because they always open, so they always come in and immediately like you don't even have a chance to fix whatever things might have come up because you're on such a strict time budget.
And also they want us to stay open until 8, but they won't pay me if I stay after 8.
Which I'm pretty sure is illegal.
Which I think is illegal. So they want us to stay open till 8, be closed at 8, have everything done at 8, and if we have to stay after, we don't get paid for it.
Yeah, but the whole point is like if they want you to be closed at 8, you have to do your cleaning after 8. So they want to not have to pay you to clean the store.
Pretty much.
Which is no.
Yeah, which is why I start closing. I have this whole thing written out that I close and I have to have things done by specific times. And I start closing, like cleaning and closing and doing all that stuff a half hour early and putting things away.
Right.
And people come in and they get really angry about it.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, what do you mean you don't have this? It's I'm closing in 10 minutes. Like you're lucky that I'm making you.
You're lucky that I still have the case out because I leave the most popular things out, but also like there's a point where at 7 o'clock like the meatballs have to go away, so I'll turn them off at 7 and like let them cool down before I put them away. But after they're like once they've started their cooling process, I can't hand them out because they're not up to temperature.
Right.
So and it's kind of like with the hot foods thing in like Stop and Shop, you can't like you close it a little early because you like want to make sure you like your food can like cool and be cooled by the time the morning comes so you can either sell it as cold food or whatever. So I'll start to like an hour before the whole thing shuts down, I can't sell them anymore.
Right.
And they're like, "Well, what the fuck?" And it's like, "I'm sorry. I didn't know your entire happiness hinged on one meatball sandwich."
Right. I just don't understand the people that walk into a restaurant 10 minutes or any place where that sells food 10 minutes before they close and they expect to get everything they want. It's like, dude, you are lucky.
Well, not to mention, if I need to go to the bathroom anywhere in that 4 hour time,
right? Then anyone walks in the store, it's like, what do I do? Like, too bad. I'm in the bathroom.
Well, that's the best part is that I've started doing this thing where I will make sure I hold it until like the last hour or something of my shift.
Yeah.
I'll like make sure I get everything I need to get done, like mop, and then I lock the doors for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. So that the floors can dry without people walking on them because that's something that the owners have a huge problem with is feet marks on the floor.
Yeah.
They don't want you to walk on it after it's wet unless it's a customer. Then let them come in and track all the mud they want and then mop again. So I'll lock it so there's no feet marks and so I can pee. And people, without fail, always pull on the door when I'm trying to pee and then either call to ask if we're still open Mind you, this is like about 15 minutes before I leave.
Right. But they call, but you're in the bathroom, so it's not like you can answer because you're the only.
Well, that or I have to rush and like get out there and get the phone.
Right.
Because it could be my owner's.
Yeah. Right.
So I have to get it. So then they'll call and be like, "Are you open?" And I'll have to explain to them, "I had to pee. I'm the only one here.
Right.
So I locked the doors. You can come in now." Or, God, what was I gonna say? Or do what my bosses want me to do, which is just go to the bathroom and leave a sign that says, "I'm in the bathroom. Just wait for me."
But you're the only person there, so they just like the register's right there.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing
That's
is
really stupid.
the register's there. A bunch of knives are there. The back door to the behind the counter isn't locked. People can hide in the building.
Yeah.
People can
No.
take the knives.
Not.
People could grab the register. Like people could do anything. And I'm like, sure, I'll just give them a heads up that I'm taking a shit and that they have exactly 15 minutes to prepare themselves before I come back if they want to kill me.
If they want to kill you, or they have 15 minutes to just steal whatever they want and run.
But regardless, it is like my mental health already wasn't great because of COVID and like how good was it to start with.
Right.
But then my job that I did enjoy closed down because of COVID, and now I work back at Subway because it's the only place the people there will just take me back no matter what, pretty much. And it's like weighing very heavily on me.
Yeah, understandably.
And I want more than anything to go back to like my job where I just sell wine and I can sit at a desk and draw and talk to old people and just like sell them booze and talk about fucking like wine and crap all day long. Like I would do that for fucking 12 hours a day and die happy.
Absolutely. And that's the thing is like that it sucks that was like almost kind of a casualty of COVID. That like this store just wasn't, it didn't stay open.
Mm-hmm.
And, like,
well, I mean, I'm pretty sure it was. She said she wanted to sell it for years and years, but it was doing well.
Right.
And so now that it wasn't doing as well in COVID, she just sold it.
Yeah. So, in a way, it really was, and then like that sucks because that job was like it was like they treated you a lot better, and like the job was a lot more like there was a lot less like unreasonable expectation on you, and like they didn't pull weird bullshit like tell you they wouldn't pay you for the cleaning you had to do at the end of the night.
Even if they did, I wouldn't care. Like I would stay there 15 minutes, 20 minutes after and just cleaned because it was a nice job. Like
sure.
I don't fucking care. like they would still pay me for it. They'd be like, "Oh, just let us know when you were here and we'll pay you for it." And literally give me that benefit and I'll just sit here and for a half hour after work and clean. I don't care. But but that's because they gave me the time.
Yeah. They treated you like your time was valuable.
Yeah. Well, they treated me like my time was valuable and they treated me like a person. And if they had any grievances with me, they'd just be like, "Oh, I don't know if you knew this, but like this is how we want you to do a thing. So just in the future, if you need a reminder, like just ask me. If you don't remember, it's not a big deal, but like we need to start remembering to do it this way." It's like, "Oh, cool, awesome." But like, there was a time where one of my bosses, like I cleaned the windows, and I came in the next day, and my boss had me stand in front of the counter in front of a bunch of customers and like pointed at the door and was like, "Why is it like that? Why didn't you clean it well? Why like you need to be..."
This was at your current job.
At my job, yeah, currently. And I'm like, "I'm sorry, I didn't know you were my fucking mom."
Yeah.
And that you wanted to shame me in front of about like 15 people right now. Yeah. Like what the fuck is this?
Fuck that.
I don't get paid enough for this crap.
No, absolutely not.
And like I want to start looking for another job, but I'm also like terrified I'm not going to find a job where I'll make as much, even though I don't really make that much money anyway. I'm terrified that I'm not going to find a job that I actually enjoy.
Right, that you enjoy, that will make like enough money for it to be worth it.
This money doesn't even make it worth it.
Right.
But that's the thing is,
of course.
Like they opened up another wine place in the place of my old wine place.
Yeah.
But I don't know how that place is going to be.
New owners, yeah.
But also like I know I've worked at like Stop and Shop before, and that makes me miserable. I work at Subway, and that makes me miserable.
Yeah.
the only place I've actually worked that didn't make me miserable was the wine place.
Yeah.
And unless I can find another job like that, I feel like everywhere I work is just going to make me miserable.
Yeah.
So that's my thorn.
Yeah, I feel that. That's completely understandable. It's it sucks that we have to deal with this constant stress of work, and they like we work so hard, and we carry that shit home with us, like all of the stress and the nonsense from a week of work. Like we have to take so much time after each shift to unwind from it, to unpack that stress, and we still don't make enough money to fucking take care of
Well, the worst thing is
ourselves.
it doesn't leave me.
Right.
I don't unwind.
Yeah. For some people, it's even harder. Like I can get to a point where I've unwound from work, but then if I have work the next day, it's like it's just gonna pick itself back up.
I'm just
But
tense the entire time.
right.
Like
Exactly.
I get
Harder for
home
you.
and there's that little bit of like I can either with TikTok or with video games or like with shows, I can like trance myself out of being terrified for a little while.
Yeah.
But the moment I have to go to sleep, that's why I stay up so late. I stay up so late so I can do the things I enjoy.
Because once you go to sleep, you know when I wake up, I'm going to work.
Yeah, and I don't want to. And so then I'm just like literally grinding my heels into the floor and just wishing I could do anything else.
Yeah.
And then I'm there, and then it's like just counting down until it's done.
It's completely understandable. It sucks. Maybe one day we'll get cool jobs and they'll pay us well and we don't have to worry about that
Maybe.
anymore.
I need to see about that wine place.
Yeah. Maybe we can hit our dream job someday. Maybe you can just go like make candy.
I'd love to literally do anything else.
Yeah, fair enough.
Except for like supermarkets and other fast food.
Not retail.
Even if it like I need to like figure out a way to become like a big like a sticker mogul or like make pins.
Yeah. Make resin cast dice. That's
well,
your thing.
Yeah. That was the thing is I wanted to sell dice, but I'm like I'm not confident in doing them because sometimes they have air bubbles. But I also need to like buy a $200 pressure pot if I'm gonna
sure.
make nice dice.
Yeah, fair. It's a big undertaking.
And I could do pins, but I don't know what like people want pins of, and also I have to make like a $300 deposit for like a batch of one set of pins. And then I also have to figure out how to get like packaging to like package, and I have to figure out how to make like the sales stickers.
Yeah, like you have to. It's really like it takes some business acumen.
In the process.
To really sit down and figure out. Yeah. Absolutely.
But that's what I was thinking of doing with my my tax return a little bit is buying a batch of pins. Then it's like, well, what ones do I sell? Will people actually want them? I'm probably not gonna be able to live off of that. Like,
right, that's fair.
It's a thing.
It's a lot to think about. A lot of stress on your plate.
It's annoying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So I guess it's time for my thorn.
Yeah, your thorn. Go.
Oh boy. Yeah. So I wrote down in my little list of what my things were. I kept it short, sweet, and to the point. All I wrote for my thorn was our government remains stupid and shitty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so a lot of things happened this week that just absolutely fucking sent me. The biggest one was the news article that had come out this week that explained that the Biden administration was who, and like for full transparency for everybody who listens to the podcast, I make no pretense that I am a very progressive leaning person, and that I hate and revile the Trump administration for everything they're stood for. That is not me. I am not the kind of person that sits on the right side of anything politically. We can go into that a lot.
I also feel like at this point people know that.
But yeah, I mean, I've complained enough about about the Trump administration and our government in previous podcasts that you kind of all pretty much know what the deal is.
If that is new to you and you are surprised and you don't like that, just go away.
Yeah, like you're not gonna like any more things we have to say about politics. It's not for you. Just go home. But and speaking of, but now maybe if you're like a weird centrist, who doesn't have a strong stance on everything and thinks nothing affects you, then maybe you also won't like listening to this because I'm about to rip Joe Biden a big fucking new one because fuck that guy. I'm so pissed with him right now. We got a news article this week that Joe Biden's administration is opening up a new migrant facility for children.
New cages for kids.
A new like the whole point of this was I was like, God, like there's a million things that Trump has done wrong, and there are a million terrible things that his administration stands for. Most of all being white supremacy, fascism, and the literal destruction of the way of life of people who look different than them. Fuck that shit. Can't stand for that shit. And I thought, well, at least if we vote for Biden, yeah, maybe he doesn't care about my student loan debt, and maybe he doesn't care about the minimum wage, and maybe he's like some like weird American version of a liberal where the Democratic Party is basically just a slightly more leftward Republican Party, and we're all like a very right leaning country that doesn't give a flying fuck about low class working Americans.
Right.
Basically treats us like we're peasants. But I thought maybe at least if we vote for this guy, maybe we won't be putting literal children in fucking concentration camps. Maybe we could put a stop to that. And Biden's like, well, we're going to open up a new one, but like it's different. It's like it's a housing facility for migrant children. Yeah, that's called a fucking concentration camp. The Trump administration also called them housing facilities for migrant children. And what kind of, but like, I was, like, some of the articles I was reading and some of the shit that they were saying, like, he was like, well, we're going to have like more space for them. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to double the size of their cages.
Great,
like,
they're free range chickens.
Yeah.
You're still going to them all.
Yeah, like they are still separated from their parents, and you are not making a priority
how about
to return them to their homes and give them a reasonable way of life. These are refugees. These are people escaping wars. Most importantly, the majority of these people are people who are escaping wars that we started. They're escaping to our country because we dropped a bomb on their village.
Yeah.
And now they're coming here because that's all they've got. And we're like, we're gonna put you in a box. Like, fuck you. And I'm sick and tired of all of the fucking, like, centrist liberals who are like, for all intents and purposes, like, oh, we're better than all those Trump supporters, whatever. And then they put on their blue Biden-Harris hat. And anytime Joe Biden does a war crime, they're like, well, at least it's a war crime that I can sleep at night because it's my guy doing it. Fuck you guys. Yeah. Like, absolutely not. And that drove me nuts. I posted about it on Twitter. Well, actually, specifically, I tweeted at Joe Biden and explained and asked him where our $2,000 check he promised us was, asked him why the fuck he was opening up a concentration camp for literal children, and asked him why he couldn't keep any of his promises. Ran out of characters to call him a butt. Really wanted to call him a butt, but didn't do that. And so many people on Twitter
ran to his defense.
Up my ass. Yeah, it was, first of all, like, I am horrified and dismayed to admit that particular tweet questioning Joe Biden is the most successful tweet I've ever made. I had like 300 people like that tweet, and like 2 of them are people I knew, and it was a bunch of weird assholes who were all just like mad that I had the audacity and the gall to question when a Democratic president commits a fucking war crime.
Well, the people that liked it probably weren't the people that were questioning you.
No, the people that liked me were fine, but like it's the people that replied to it mostly. That's true. I should say the likes were not a problem. It was the people who replied to it and were just like basically like many varying versions of like, how dare you? Like, what do you want? The Trump administration? There was one guy.
It's like, no.
There's the fucking mental gymnastics that centrists have to do. There was
it reminds me of that meme where it's like cats stretching and then
it's the 2 hands clasping in unity, and it's like ooh, big stretch, and one of them is when your cat like stretches out real wide, and one of them is reading conservative arguments.
Yeah.
Ooh, big stretch. Yeah, exactly. But no, I literally did have one guy who he replied to me like my whole thing where and the thing is like I didn't take a big shit on Biden. Like, I wasn't calling him a bunch of names out. I literally just said, why are you opening a housing like a housing camp for migrant children.
Where's my
instead of sending them
money?
home.
Why are you
Also,
putting kids in
you
cages
promised
still?
us
Why can't you
$2,000.
keep your promises? That's
Yeah.
not a big
Yeah,
shit.
I just like he's the president of the United States. I wanted to hold the guy accountable for the things he promised he would/would not do. He said he wouldn't put more kids in cages, and he said that he would give us a stimulus check. I don't have a stimulus check, and there's new cages for kids. He's not keeping his fucking promises. I want to know what's up. So I just
He also
asked him.
decided he's not going to do any of that college relief or whatever the
Oh
fuck.
yeah, when Senator Warren came up and was like, "Hey, what about the whole like
The loan debt.
for student loan debt?" And he was like, "No."
It's like, wow, that's funny.
Laughed at it. Like that's a laughable idea. Why the hell would I ever do that? it's like because
you said you would?
Yeah, like you fucking were talking about like, oh yeah, it's part of our platform. He never wanted to do it because the bottom line is like the people who are fucking donating to him are gonna be mad if he does it because it's gonna hurt their bottom line.
My favorite thing about Biden is that he's not Trump, so he doesn't tweet very much.
Yeah, sure.
And maybe he won't bathe the children he put in the new cages in bleach? It's not a big jump.
It's not much there. It's not a whole lot there. That's the whole thing. It's like people seem to my biggest problem, the thing that irritates me, and the thing that has been a literal as well as I guess now metaphysical thorn in my side this week is just watching people just like with their whole chest and their whole ass just admit like, well, it's okay if fucked up shit happens because damn, isn't it nice that it's Biden doing them and not like people that I don't like. It's like, yeah, I don't like Trump either. That doesn't mean that any of the shit that this guy is doing is good either. Trump would have done worse, but that doesn't make this okay.
Right.
It's not a binary system like that. It's not there's the bad guy and the good guy, and if the good guy does stuff the bad guy would do, he's the good guy, so it's okay. It's all shit.
Like, I know the bar is low, but if you don't pick the whole thing up, you can't sweep with the broom.
Yeah, right. But that's exactly it. And like one of the comments that I had someone get back to me on Twitter was they were literally just like I was explaining how it's like it kind of sucks that he's literally quoted 3 times in a speech in January 4th. I found the sound clips and I found a reply from the sound clips of Joe Biden literally saying, if you vote in the Georgia Senate runoff elections and the Senate flips to the Democrats, then the $2,000 checks will be in the mail in 2 weeks, quote, end quote. Like he specifically said the $2,000 checks and that they'll be there soon. And now all of a sudden, like Georgia wins the next day, and now he's talking about, oh, it's $1,400 because the $600 that when he made that speech I already had in my bank account counted as part of it. Like, no, you don't get this.
Well, not to mention, we've already talked about this. I didn't get that. 600.
Yeah. So he promised you a $2,000 check. What the fuck is this?
So what? I only get $1,400 potentially, as long as it actually still applies to me.
Yeah, even if it still applies to you, which the last 2 didn't for some fucking reason.
Well, because I'm a dependent.
Yeah, but like that's still ridiculous. Like everyone we all need money. We all are getting nowhere near enough hours, and the economy is in a shambles right now, and the government exists like the whole point of a democracy, and people have lost sight of this because people are so eager to be peasants. For some reason, people are just so ready to be like, well, the government just gets to decide for us. That we live in a democracy, we live in a democratic republic. The whole point of electing people is because we vote for them and then they owe us. That's why we vote for them. We vote for you so you'll listen to us. So why is it that when we vote for people and then they do shit we don't want them to do, we're all eager to roll over and be like, well, that's just how it is. They just get to call the shots because they're elites. Some rich guy that I voted for, I'm not going to fucking vote for him again. Why would I vote for you again if you don't keep your promises? Fuck you.
Absolutely not.
Like, why would I vote for someone who looks me square in the eye and then says, I'm going to fuck you over? Listen to the words I'm saying? That's not happening. I'm taunting you. This is a joke. You're a joke to me. Go fuck yourself. Yeah. Now, do I have your vote? No, absolutely not.
Yeah,
get out
fuck
of here.
No.
Yeah. So I guess the general theme is like I didn't expect a whole lot from Biden. Everyone was like, oh, well, we should vote for Biden, and then we'll be able to move him more left. It's like you already had a guy who was more left, Bernie Sanders. You should have voted for that fucking guy.
I wish.
You should have voted. Yeah, Bernie, and then Bernie's out there busting his ass, working on reconciliation and
I
pushing
love
for the
that, man.
$15 minimum wage on top of that. Fucking like AOC and Presley and Rashida Tlaib, like
That
they're
was
all.
stupid. I was like, we should invite him to my wedding. Maybe he'll send us a thing of gloves.
You know what? Dead ass. I'll send an invitation to Bernie Sanders. Maybe he will. Maybe he won't. I don't know.
I bet Bernie Sanders would go to our Ren Fair
I
wedding.
bet you Bernie Sanders would buy your sister's soap.
100%.
Yeah. I love that man. I love that man.
Dude would buy a bath bomb, get some D20s out of it.
Oh man, yeah. Oh my god. Do you think we could Bernie play a game of D&D with us?
I wish.
I would love nothing more on this earth. Like how I'm watching all those old episodes of Critical Role, and like every once in a while Matt Mercer will just like gush for 10 minutes about how he would love to play a game of D&D with Steve Colbert, and then eventually it happened.
Yeah.
That's me.
He just needs.
I want to play a game of D&D with Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
That'd be the fucking best. Yeah. I bet she'd be a paladin.
Maybe.
What a boss.
The only I don't know if we've said it on the podcast before, but he's the only one we're allowed to cheat on each other with.
Oh, Bernie Sanders is our hall pass?
Yeah, it's our hall pass.
That's right, I forgot about that.
He's the only one.
I would love to take Bernie out on a date to his favorite macaroni and cheese restaurant.
Macaroni and cheese
I would
restaurant.
love that.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Listen, it's a one-time
but
thing.
I'm not going to stop you.
It's all part of the deal.
Well, that's literally.
We'll go get some Vermont mac and cheese, some authentic Vermont mac and cheese.
Bernie, why don't you take me to the mac and cheese restaurant?
You can ask him if he wants to go.
Well, no.
I bet you.
I think
Bernie's just looking to chill. Like he's just looking to hang out.
I think the way that I phrased it was, Bernie Sanders is the only person that I would ever leave you for. And I expect the exact same in return.
Yeah.
Like if he was like, I want you, I'd be like, go.
Yeah.
Go to better things.
That's fine. Yep. That's it. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
But anyway.
But yeah, that's it. I mean,
the government sucks.
Yeah, the government sucks. At least there are a couple of people that I feel confident that they are trying their best to do the right thing. And I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I'm not going to go on the record here and be like, Bernie Sanders can do no wrong, because I refuse to subscribe to
right. If he did shit wrong, then it's like...
We'll call him on it. It's just that Bernie and...
He hasn't.
And AOC and a couple of other people that I tend to follow in politics, like, for the most part, and maybe it's just because we're very similar breeds of leftist, but for the most part, it's like they pretty much know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah.
And they're pretty much on the same page. And
trust me, I'm the queen of cross me and see.
Yeah.
The only thing I wanted out of Biden was just to shut up.
Yeah.
He was making all these promises, and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna fucking expect any of that shit out of you.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I know who you are.
Yeah, you're right.
But as long as you're fucking quiet...
Sucks to be proven right.
That's all I wanted out of Hillary.
Yeah.
Just fucking shut up. Like, just be quiet.
But see, that's the thing. I think that's the thing that bothers me on a different level too. Like, I'm not the type of person who's going to be happy with someone just getting into office being like, I'm going to be quiet, because like the problem is already
stipulation.
Yes.
In comparison to Trump, I feel like I will care more when there are two people who matter.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
I knew Trump was going to be a train wreck. I was literally looking for earplugs.
Yeah.
For those 4 years.
Right.
And for the years of recovery.
Right. I just
when it matters, I will care so much.
my stipulation
on
that is, I feel like that, like a balm over the constant stress and anxiety of every day's news cycle with Trump, that is a pleasant thing. I just was hoping that they would also try to remedy the ills of the Trump administration.
Yeah.
They seem to kind of just be doing the same things, but they're more quiet about it. To me, that in some cases is honestly more egregious. If you're going to be a villainous asshole,
at least say it to my face.
It's not good, but I want to be able to call it out and be like, this is obvious evil. And it sucks that now people who vote Democrat and are anti-Trump are turning around and looking at Biden doing a lot of the same shit that Trump was doing, and they're like, but it's Biden, so it's okay. It was never the issue that was the problem for them. It was just who was doing it.
Right.
They didn't like that someone with an R next to their name was doing the evil. And when it's someone with a D in front of their name, they don't care about the evil. I can't, like, I can't do that. Like, evil is evil, and you should call it out where it is, no matter who's doing it. If someone is doing evil, that is evil. It's not magically good because the good guy is doing it.
And that's not what I'm saying at all.
No, I understand. Yeah, but you're exactly right. But that's like that's kind of my whole point. Is it like that's the thing that like drives me the most is when people now are just like they're just turning a blind eye and like everything's okay because even if Biden drops bombs on innocent Syrian kids, it's fine because we did just
he did do that.
We did drop bombs on Iranians because we're just going to go do war crimes again because that's what we do. That's what America does.
Peacefully.
Yeah, we're gonna
air quotes, heavy air quotes.
We're gonna bring peace and democracy, and by that we mean we're going to kill anyone with a leftist thought, and we're going to do extreme strict capitalism and steal all of your oil. And then when your refugees leave your country because they don't want to basically be enslaved, we're gonna put them in a box.
If I could learn another language and make more than $3,000 without having to pay for bills, I would be so out.
Yeah, we get the fuck out of here in seconds. Fuck this place. I'm tired of this.
Anyway, let's move past the thorns.
Yeah, I think. Well, I needed to vent, and
we spent, I think, equal amount of times talking about how work sucks and the government sucks, and now let's move on to the happy stuff. We spent
Yeah, no, you're right. We need a nice little closer.
We spent like 20 minutes talking about good stuff, about 30 minutes talking about bad stuff.
Yeah. Let's close it out.
Let's close it out with some good
stuff. Now we're on buds, right? It's little things that excite us.
Stuff that we're excited about. Mine is our D&D campaign on Friday.
Oh my god. Yes. Oh, let's talk about this because I was really excited about this little venture.
So as most people know, we have a D&D campaign.
Yes.
We have a few, but the main one, which is our Out of the Abyss campaign. We just got Out of the Abyss.
Yes, they have.
She said it. She said the title.
Yeah, there it is. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with this, it's a third major 5th edition module campaign setting book that was released. It's a Forgotten Realms campaign setting book, so it's following along with the story of the Worm Tamers, the characters that you previously had. It's their children were the main characters. We've talked about them before. We've done a couple of episodes with these characters in there, but it's a bunch of their children, and they got kidnapped and sent to not the literal D&D abyss. It is a metaphorical abyss. It is the literal D&D Underdark, the series of like networks of caverns and tunnels underneath the surface of the material world, and they've been trapped there for months in game. And finally, on Friday, these characters came out of the under tunnels and saw the sun for the first time in 3 months.
And we immediately went to my character's home village, almost town. And I thought it was going to be like we're going to just check out my house. Things are going to be cool. Bing, bang, boom. We're going to go to the next person's house. Things might maybe be a little less cool. And then we're going to go to the main place. And then it's going to be like super not cool. But to my surprise, we went to my house and we realized that there was a huge fucking political scandal happening.
Yeah, I've been sitting on this adventure for literal months, waiting for you guys to get back.
Someone literally tried to murder my character's like baby brother. He's like 2 years old.
Yeah. It's a political assassination because you have an important family name in that tribal culture.
And they accidentally stabbed my character's stepdad, and then we realized that or I didn't realize, my teammates realized that somebody from the nearby Walden City, think Attack on Titan City.
Yeah, they have 100-foot wall because this island is a series of outpost survivor villages of powerful woodsmen and huntsmen dotting the corner of the outside of the village. They're one of these villages, the village of Kalkala, and then the forest that rings the in between of these coastal villages and the center mountains.
The central mountain.
is all untamed wilderness that has tons of monsters and powerful beasts roaming around. So it's dangerous terrain, and so the people of the woods have learned to live amongst nature, bend nature to their will and control it, and tame creatures to help them fight off the monsters. And the city in the center has just kind of built large walls.
Yeah, they killed one of the tribes, built the walls to keep us and the monsters out and keep themselves safe.
Right.
And now they have a fun little illusion of society down there.
Yes.
But they like have this whole thing where they tried to, now that they bamped into our our town, they like tried to kill my baby brother. I just came up from being in the Underdark for 3 months. Which is like their worst nightmare because we're alive.
You get back there and like the first, like, all this is happening at the same time. Like your eyes are still adjusting to the sun. You're like staring up at it. You're squinting. Your eyes are constantly watering. You're uncomfortable. You're stressed. Like, and then all this shit happens.
And I'm so excited because, like, they realized somebody from this city, like, bamfed in, tried to kill my baby brother, accidentally stabbed my...
Of a teleportation circuit inside the home, so somebody teleported
So they tried to, like, find the dude, because one of them had already been, like, shackled up in the center of town because they got caught. Mm-hmm. But they're like, oh, there's, like, a second person involved, so they tried to go find him, and they did. And he, like, teleported away, and they're like, shit, this guy's, like, really strong. And, like, they realized that he was in a disguise as one of the, like, villagers. So they went and found out where he lived, and we realized that he killed them and, like, used magic to make them walk around as, like, undead in their homes to make it seem like they were living there still.
He killed the villager and the person he was living with, the two villagers, one a wood elf on the outskirts, because the wood elves kind of live in, like, treetop houses, like a mile or so outside of the main, like, sort of ringing the outskirts of the village. And so he was living with one of the wood elves there, and the guy had found them and killed them, and had supposedly, apparently, from what you had found, reanimated them as a ghast and a wight, respectively.
Right. But of course, now that we're back, perfect timing, there's like, we're living on this one island that's a chain of a bunch of different islands that my mother, who was a war hero, one of the Worm Tamers, like, with a bunch of her allies, like, put together a whole archipelago, like,
they were islands that had experienced large amounts of trade amongst each other, and like each of them had their own different surpluses. Some had lots of, like, sheep for wool and linen, and others had lots of access to leather, and some had lots of trees for lumber, and some had lots of fish.
But also the South was trying to take over the North, and
so they needed some sense of unity.
So my mother put in place like a council and, like, a peace treaty to, like, make everyone, like, stop fighting and, like, just do trade with each other, which they, like, at the end of each season, they meet up, see who needs what, if anything's gone wrong, make sure everyone's cool, and then, like, peace. One of these meetings is tomorrow in game.
Yeah, it just so happens that you guys came back the day before the meeting would be happening.
And of course, someone from this big city is on that council, and my mom is supposed to be on that council, but she's not around because they got vamped off to some weird, like, planar cage or something like that.
Trapped somewhere and you can't find them.
Which is why I'm assuming they tried to do the assassination now, is because after it's been 3 months, people have been realizing that no one, like, powerful is around, and so now we have to go to this council meeting and fucking figure out what's happening, see if we actually want to tell them that the big city is trying to, like, wage war on us and kill our family line.
And you'd have to do that in front of one of their representatives, and you don't know if that person can be trusted or not.
And we have to do that in front of the rest of the people who still potentially might be harboring, like, weird things about us. You don't know if they
have any alliances, any secret backdoor deals with anyone else on the council, if people are trying to band together to take you guys out, because your mother is one of the most influential members of the council, and she's been pretty good at telling people, like, especially, like, the pirates who lived in the north. She's pretty good at, like, talking to the pirate queen eye to eye and being like, hey, you can't roam our lands. We'll work with you. We'll give you resources. We'll give you the things you need, but you can't be pillaging and killing our people. And so they've been pretty much at bay for a while, but who's to say that they are like, hey, they're all gone. Don't you want to go ape shit? Like, you don't know who's where and who's
and what's happening. It's a huge thing. Like, we've been playing a game for more than a year out of game.
Yeah.
Just navigating tunnels and trying to survive.
Yeah.
Which is, like, totally my thing.
Yeah.
But now we're on the surface, and everything is going to shit.
Yeah.
And you'd think that underneath the surface is where everything was shit. No, no, no.
Yeah.
Up here is where everything is shit.
Yep.
And I'm so excited about it.
What happens when a world full of powerful heroes, when all the drama that they've been keeping on the fringes because their very existence makes it so that certain people can't make moves? What happens when those heroes just disappear? They're gone.
Their kids gotta fucking try and take care of it to the best of their ability.
You guys have been gone for 3 months, and everyone's been making their moves while your parents are gone for 3 months, and now you're going to go from place to place, and you're going to be like, oh fuck, what have people been what have they been keeping at bay that is now unleashed that we are going to have to deal with?
I'm so excited about it. Like literally, just waiting for more D&D is the only reason that I get out of bed.
Yeah.
And
the thing is, as someone who from a DM's perspective, I've been sitting on the core ideas. I've been sitting on the Kelkala assassination attempt plot for, I think, almost 2 months.
Oh my god!
I've just been sitting on and kind of building little things here and there, and adding little tidbits, and I've been rolling to see what's going on in the town at this time, who's where, what pieces are moving, and I've been kind of manipulating that, waiting for the opportunity for you guys to go there and find out how far along in this plot is. It's something that's been breathing. I've been building on this for a long time, and I knew you guys were going to get invested in it because this kind of murder mystery plot is connected to your backstory, and the other characters are the other characters in the party are all people who are really interested in the mystery.
Well, they're also the people that are the best at solving these kinds of problems.
They're all high charisma, high dexterity, people who want to solve problems.
That's the thing is, I'm so excited.
And then there's you.
Yeah, and then there's me, who's just the muscle. But it's
you're the muscle, but you're the muscle who lives here, and this problem directly relates to your family. So everybody's firing on all cylinders. Yeah,
I'm so excited to figure out what's happening and potentially conclude it. I feel like my character is not sure if people are gonna want to stay and figure out what's happening here, because if this is what's happening here, what's happening everywhere else?
Right.
But also she really wants to stay and figure out what's happening and make sure Calcala is stable before we go. Make sure there's no more weird people traitors and people on the download trying to get in.
You already found one person in disguise who had been in disguise.
Well, technically he wasn't a traitor because he got murdered.
Right. Well, you found a person in disguise. Who else could be in disguise?
Right.
Who else is there?
It's crazy. I think Ivy's afraid they won't want to stay and help her figure it out before we move on. And if not, then she's probably going to have to talk to a few people to make sure she stays updated on what's happening in case they have to make a emergency trip back.
Right.
Which is funny because Ivy was sitting there stressing about it, and my favorite thing was I was like, okay, well, this is where we have to go, this is what we have to do, and Fog, she was giving the ascending stone to one of the ladies there, Kima, the cleric that they have, and she's like, okay, so just keep me updated, and I don't know when we'll be back. We might not be back for a while. I don't know when we're coming back. And Claire's like, we're coming back. We'll come back. It's fine.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay.
Because you're so nervous. You're I don't know if everybody else has their own shit they want to deal with, but everyone in this group is no, we want to figure this out.
Well, even if it's not immediately, it's
we've built this camaraderie amongst ourselves. I think all of us are just we're in it to help.
Yeah, and for everyone else's knowledge, Kylie and Ivy don't get along.
Yes. They're very polar opposite people.
So it's just funny to see her trying to comfort her. She's like, we'll come back. And it's even if it's not today, even if it's not tomorrow, even if it's not this week, we'll come back.
It is I do have to say, this is definitely a bud for me as well. Not necessarily the one I picked, but this is a big one for me because there's something so rewarding as a DM when you build this whole big plot and the gears start turning and you start putting these pieces in. I've been, I said, it's been months that I've been cooking this plot and alongside other story elements and story beats for the surface, and I've been kind of building this tapestry of interesting plot threads that are going in a variety of different directions. But you never know how the party's going to take it until you do it.
Right.
I can sit here and be oh yeah, these seem like the kind of things they'd be interested in. But, I mean, any couple of roles going differently, you guys might have been like, well, we can't figure out what's going on, so fuck this, and then left. But
Right.
you guys like went into it, and you were so invested in it, and like it's kind of branched out into this super interesting plot thread that everyone seems really invested in.
Mm-hmm.
And as a DM, that's a super rewarding thing to me. Like
Uh-huh.
to be like, well, I'm really excited about this, but I don't know if everyone else is going to be excited about it. And then to like actually like put it all out there and put it on the table for your players and just be like, you guys go nuts. And everyone was fucking into it.
Mm-hmm.
I was so happy.
Well, that's exciting for me too, because I also have this weird thing where I I pretty much built Calcala's lore from the ground up.
Right.
And so us making our stop there for me obviously is like super cool because I finally get to like play in this place I made.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And while I'm like, even if I'm like not in control of what's happening, that's kind of like the whole wonder of it is I made it and then I gave it to you to make it live.
Yeah. That is the DM player compact in its finest form.
And just I get to be there and that's so interesting for me.
Yeah.
But Hannah is like, oh no, like no one else is gonna like being here. Like,
right,
what if nobody else?
And that's why you thought it was gonna be quick, because you're like, no one else wants to hang out in Calcala.
Yeah, like no.
This is my place.
I'm like, this is like full of like NPCs that like I made and like places that I made and like it's like very my aesthetic and like no one's gonna want to stay here and like hang out here and like be here. So we'll just stop. I'll say hi to my family. And then we'll go. But everybody else seemed pretty interested in what was happening, so I was like, it's kind of nice. Like that.
I think it's a little bit harder for Kyle because I think that Noir is really stressed out. Because I think that like Noir.
Well, also the first thing that happened when we got there is that Ivy executed the guy that tried to kill her baby brother.
Yeah.
So that immediately put her in a sour mood. And well, that is very like a very Noir thing. It's like
she is the kind of person like she has compassion for everyone, even those who have done horrible things, because compassion to her is not something that needs to be earned. Compassion is something that is innate to the human experience.
Right. Yeah. But like that even also made it funny. It makes it hard for me to know if Kyle is having fun or if he's acting, because maybe he's just doing it really well.
I feel Kyle's just in the character.
He's just really good at doing noir.
Yeah. Kyle can very easily, like, Noir in a lot of ways as a character fits Kyle like a glove.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that means it's very similar to like Liam in Critical Role. Like when he gets to the table and he's in character.
When he's in character, he's in character.
When Kyle's in character, like the visceral like discomfort and concern and like horror at your act of violence was something that he wore very viscerally, but he wore it because he is so good at portraying Noir's emotions with his whole body.
Well, no, that's what I was saying. Is it's when he's doing that, it makes it hard for me to tell that Kyle is having fun. I'm sure he's
but because he's wearing the character so well, the character is in stress.
But it also is good because it breeds so many funny moments.
That's true.
Like, she was like, I don't want to be here anymore. And then the Kilcullen guy walks up to her and he's just like, okay, well, you know what? Out here, things are just so harsh. And she's like, I don't want you to help me. And he's like, I understand.
He went up and he wanted. Yeah, he was like she's just like everything. Like this is terrible and everything sucks. And he goes over. He's like, listen, this is a bit of a hard scrambled life here. Like there's monsters and beasts everywhere, and sometimes we have to make some hard, rather violent choices. And she's just like, you are not comforting me. And he's like, you know what? All right, cool.
I get it. I'm gone.
He was like it was a genuine moment where that NPC was like, oh, I recognize that this is like our chief's daughter's friend, so I want to go help and like help her understand. Like you're from a different world than we are from. You live in the city, and we live in this harsh wilderness, and so things are a little tougher and bloodier around here. And she's just like, no, and he's like, all right, cool. I ain't helping you.
But then like we got into all of the political climate of it, and like she came right out of her being angry about it, which is
she realizes there's something really sinister
happening
that could understand that they could hurt her friends afoot.
And of course, she
into it.
immediately came right out of her shell as soon as Ivy and Arya started having their squabble, and she's like, "Hey, what's happening?"
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Because also that's the biggest thing is that our two dearly beloved moron lesbians can't fucking like talk to each other to save their life. Arya is the biggest issue.
But also, I think my favorite thing is that, bringing it back to me being insecure about knowing if anyone's actually enjoying themselves or not, is that I took full advantage of knowing my landscape, and I got mad during the little argument, and I just left.
Right.
Because I didn't think we could actually solve anything or fix anything. And I knew there was like a huge problem going on. I'm like, okay, well, we're gonna have to leave, and I don't know what to do, and like I can't actually fix anything, so like I'm just gonna go.
Right.
Hang out somewhere, and so I left, and then Noir and Arya and Kylia and Papyrus, my brother, but the NPC, were the ones that started fixing the problem.
Yeah, they just immediately were like, we need to go investigate, and we need to go figure it out, and then they fucking found a guy in disguise who's been hanging around.
Yeah, like...
And was, like, suspiciously close to where the assassin's body was.
Yeah, like even if all of the people in our campaign were like, yeah, well, it wasn't the most fun, I'd still like that a lot.
Yeah, it still felt like everybody
was in their element, regardless.
You would it must feel nice for you. Like it feels nice in the same way that like when I introduce a new location to you guys and you guys like it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it feels that way for me. Like you created Kelkala, you built a lot of the NPCs, you built a lot of the setting, you built the conflict between Highport City and the villagers of Kelkala, and then you gave that over to me, and I created a storyline out of it, and then you're like, okay, I can see all the reasons in my own head why this appeals to me. It's my world, my setting, my story being played out in front of me. But why are other people going to care? And it must feel really nice for your character to walk away from the situation, and then through no involvement of your own, all of the other characters are like, hey, we're in this place and there's stuff to do. So we're going to go for it, and we're going to go explore, and we're going to like immerse ourselves in this environment. Yeah. And like that's got to feel good.
Yeah, and I'm very excited to continue next week.
I'm very excited to continue too. There's so much more to this shit. You guys just hopped through the teleportation circle, and you're on your way to Ventress to make your way on to the council meeting. So we'll see what's going on in Ventress while you stop by, and hopefully things are okay.
So excited about it. Oh my god.
There's so much going on. It's been a long 3 months that you've all been gone. There's a lot of things that the children of powerful adventurers are responsible for when those adventurers disappear, and you weren't there either. So, what's been happening?
Well, that's also one of my favorite things is that they were trying to kill my baby brother because they're trying to eliminate our family line.
Yeah, they want to cut your family line out of the picture.
They assumed my brother and me, my older brother, my twin, and me were dead, and so like, oh, the little baby one's the only one left, and so they tried to kill him and they failed. They probably were just going to try again. But now we're back, bitch.
Yep. So now it's everything's all fine, and that's not even explaining to the listeners the plot line that like something that you slipped to me very early on when you first concepted Raffi, your character.
Oh yeah, when I made my family first,
like probably 4 or 5 years ago, you slipped to me that by the way, my character Holly's father, Raffi, another character you played. Married a woman named Ezra, and she's actually, surprise, Ezra Abbott, the runaway princess of the family line that runs the walled city of Highport. And that secret's been kept for so long, they just assume she ran off into the woods and died or something. No one from the city has ever seen her in all those years, in the canonical 35, 40 years they've been gone.
She ran away when she was 15 years old.
Yeah, and now she's 60.
Now she's 60.
So she's been gone. She's been straight up gone for 45 years.
She's 60. Yeah. And a grandmother.
Yeah. And that's the thing is she's been gone for 45 years, and one of the things that happened is that someone, in the last campaign, near the end of it, so you went to that walled city to help them fight off some monsters, and someone there looked at you and was like, wow, you look a lot like my aunt who disappeared.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
like word got around and whispers had happened in court, and like one way or another, now all of a sudden this assassin comes knocking on your door and he's like, yeah, so we want our princess back and we know you have her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it's so fun for like you just like added a little footnote, like one little sentence to your back, so like, oh, by the way, this is a thing 5 years ago, and now I finally get to let that, like I've been letting that cook
Mm-hmm.
forever, and I finally get to open up the crock pot and just let it breathe in. Yeah,
So fun.
I'm excited about it.
I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to D&D like every week, but more so now than I have in a while.
It's also my favorite dynamic because I know we need to let you get to your last thing.
I don't have a whole lot to say.
But it's also one of my favorite things that Ivy is the daughter of like a lordship, like a air quotes,
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
noble's daughter,
yeah.
like
a tribal
yeah,
chieftain.
yeah, she's the daughter of a chief.
Yeah.
And so to her people, since we're like a woodland village, like she's their royalty, like
Right.
broad spectrum.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing about realizing that her grandmother is like a princess,
Yeah,
is that now everyone's telling her that she's royalty. Like they're like,
yeah.
oh wow, you technically have more like noble blood than you thought you did. And so now like all the people that, well, in particular Darrendel's like, oh, now he's like, oh, you are, yeah, okay.
Oh, it would look like you are quite a bit more royal than I
She's
would
like,
have
oh
expected.
God, and I love that she hates it. She's like, no, I was already too noble for my. I wanted to leave.
Yeah.
Like I didn't like. I wasn't gonna do anything with taking up like the chief position. Like
And because of your grandmother's bloodline, through no desire of your own, you now have some sort of like back end claim to the throne of some big walled city full of assholes you don't care about.
which is why the whole assassination happened in the first place, because they know about it now.
Because they know about it now, and so they're like, if we don't kill these people that are blood related to her, then they may use them to take our throne from us.
Yeah.
Because they only have what, 2 male heirs left? It's just
They have one.
Oh well, yeah. Besides Leander,
Besides the one that's already in power, they have
Leander
one
sits
male
the throne,
heir.
and then Roderick. Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
So they're in real trouble if you guys decide that you want the seat, because you have a divine.
We have one
claim
target.
to it. Yep. It's very complicated. Lots of fun stuff happening in D&D.
Yeah,
You know.
it's very exciting. I think it was like 3 different times that was brought up that she was more noble than she thought, and at the last time someone brought it up, she's like, "Get it out of me! Get it out of me!"
I want that. It's so fun. Okay, so I guess we'll end it off with my bud.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of took this in a little bit more of a literal perspective,
Mm-hmm.
in the sense that like a bud for me is like, this is something that I'm like, it's not necessarily a full throttle excitement, like my excitement for the Pokemon games and everything is, but it's more just like, these are things that
Something you're excited for.
they're things that I know my eyes are going to be turned towards in the next couple months, and they're things that I feel pretty confident in, like how much they're going to improve my mood and improve my way of life. It's kind of 2 small things. One of them is like, we're getting close to tax return season, and we're finally starting to talk about the possibility of that stimulus check. And I just found out, probably about a week ago, as of the time of this recording, that as part of like a COVID relief effort, anyone who has been working since we closed for COVID at my job, they're going to give a $200 bonus. So there's an extra $200 coming my way that work, and like my job, like I like my job, I really do, but we're a company that is part of an industry that I think is struggling a lot and has been affected by companies like Amazon especially, which provide a very all-in-one service that also covers what we do.
Yeah.
There are elements to our thing that like our the
I
thing.
think you've said what you do before broadly.
Yeah, I said I'm a bookseller.
Yeah, you work at a bookstore.
Yeah, I won't mention, for those of you who didn't listen to the one podcast where I accidentally mentioned the name of their workplace. I sell books, and there are not a lot of bookstores left. A lot of the big book chains have closed.
Man, I miss Borders.
Yeah, I miss Borders a lot too.
Anyway, continue.
But yeah, like not a lot of them still exist, and it's definitely something that the industry's struggling. So it's not something I ever expected to be getting extra money from our company because I imagine they're kind of just hoarding it. But it's nice to okay, here's like an extra little thing because you've been putting yourselves at risk with COVID going the whole time. I really only had 2 weeks where I wasn't at work.
Yeah.
And it's nice that they're finally like it's not a lot. It's basically part of one paycheck.
Yeah.
Is the amount of money that I'm getting, but it's nice that there's at least some manner of recognition,
right,
for like how hard I've been working.
Yeah,
I like that, and like I feel like as the money starts to come in, I feel like we'll be in a lot more comfortable position. A lot of things we've been putting off that we've been meaning to get done, like doctor's visits, especially. Though my health insurance is mostly good at covering that.
I'm excited about getting new clothes.
That's what I'm saying too. Like, there's so many elements that come out of this, like getting new clothes, setting aside a little bit of money to buy myself something nice, like being able to like afford food without like sweating.
Yeah.
And those little things are kind of like I know it's coming around the corner, and that makes me feel a little bit better. Like
this summer's gonna be good.
Oh yeah, the spring's working its way towards it, and summer's going to be a good one, I think, all things considered. That and again leading into summer, just with just this week we had the big Nintendo Direct, we had the State of Play from Sony from PlayStation, we had the Pokemon Direct. We're all leaning into, and as someone who I love and I follow the games industry really intensely, as someone who is interested in seeing what sort of great and interesting games that we're going to have to offer this year. I'm very excited about what it's looking like. We're going to start to see more of and talk more about as we get into the summer and get towards E3. I'm just so excited because I know they're going to keep talking about more Pokemon. I know we're going to see some brand new game announcements and some add-ons to game sequels that I'm very excited to hear more information about. Maybe they'll talk about Bayonetta 3. Maybe we'll talk about that Metroid Prime game. Maybe we'll talk about Breath of the Wild 2. Maybe we'll get some more Pokemon news. Maybe we'll get some cool new Sony exclusives. Maybe we'll see some Kingdom Hearts stuff. Maybe we'll see some other cool RPGs. Yeah, there's a lot that I think is coming around the corner, and all signs are pointing towards it being a big and exciting year, which is nice because last year was kind of a slow one.
Well, because of COVID.
Yeah, I mean it's inevitable, but it's nice to see that things are kind of starting to work their way back.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a bud in the sense that I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm feeling good that we're just on the edge of things turning from kind of being shitty all the time to yeah, we're starting to get a little nice.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. I was also gonna say D&D.
Oh, you were?
But yeah, I totally.
We talked about it. We crammed them all in together.
Yeah, I think that's why we spent the most time on that one because I'm the most excited about that. But then those are some nice little extra things that I think kind of are helping me get through the day to day.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess that's everything for Roses and Thorns.
Yeah.
If you want my unsolicited opinion,
Uh-huh.
I think this is really cool. I love this.
Yeah.
I do really want this to continue to be a series. I would love to hear what people think about it when they listen to this podcast in the comments.
It's just tangent to the episode, but
Oh no, I love this. I think this is fun. I think we just kind of get to I think that this particular topic lets us just do what we do best, which is just kind of talk about stuff together. The whole point of this podcast, we started it so that we could just sit down and have conversations about things that we're interested in.
Yeah.
And this entire topic is just let's just you don't have to manufacture some topic. We're just going to talk about stuff.
Trust me, as long as I stay at my job and remain clinically depressed, this will continue.
We have plenty of things that we can talk about. Oh, great. Yeah, I love this, and we hope you love it too. please let us know in the comments if you thought that this little series was interesting. I do fully intend to do more of it because I enjoyed this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly you enjoyed it, or you wouldn't have suggested it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to, hopefully we can give you some more updates on how those buds have bloomed, and we'll see if we can
over time.
Yeah, talk about some of the cool stuff we end up doing, and
tell us about your roses and thorns in the comments.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Well, with that then, do we want to tease next time?
It's your episode next time, isn't it?
No, we did a back and forth now. It's a group one next time.
Okay. If you want,
I think we know which
tease
one
it.
we're doing. Do we want
I think so.
Yeah. We're gonna next time around we're gonna do
we can always leave it at we're gonna be celebrating the 25th anniversary of Pokemon.
Yeah, we're gonna be celebrating the 25th anniversary of Pokemon in a more realistic way by doing something that we have already talked about before on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Doing something a little bit of fun with it. So we're going back to Pokemon. Pokemon's on the brain. It's kind of been the theme of the month. This is probably the last time we'll probably really do something Pokemon related for at least a little while.
I was gonna say, don't make any promises.
Well, just like I will want to do different topics, and we have a bunch more topics in the back channel. That
Pokemon may spring up is the only thing I'm saying.
Yeah, Pokemon's going to spring up, and it's something that you can definitely expect to see more from us this year, as it's kind of a big topic of the year.
But not within the next, after the next episode, probably not within the next 4, probably.
Yeah, probably for the next, for a month or so, we'll probably move away from it. We wanted to make sure we gave it a pretty healthy amount of time during the celebration, because it's something that's so near and dear to our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
But so next week we're going to have a fun little Pokemon related episode, and then from that point on, we're going to switch over to some other content for you guys. Some other lots of.
I'll be bringing back an interview for sure within the next 4.
I'm very excited about that as well. Well, thank you so much for listening, as always. It is always a pleasure.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us, and I guess we'll see you next time.
See you later. Love you. Bye.
Goodbye. Love you. Bye.